As a designer, Pratap, any inspirations? Whose work are you fascinated by, or what kinds of work have inspired your way of thinking or looking at the world?
So I think, auto and non-auto.
Yeah.
I would have been an architect if I hadn't known about the profession of automotive design when we were growing up, Dheeraj. Automotive design. I mean, we didn't have automobiles. Forget about design, right?
Yeah.
But I would have been an architect, perhaps. And Charles Correa, Louis Kahn, Frank Gehry.
Yes.
All of that work.
It's all about creating that emotion and feeling,
absolutely,
right?
Absolutely.
Through uses of material.
I mean, come on.
That's what it's
look
about,
at the creativity. What do architects physically have to work with? It's concrete, cement, wood,
and space,
bricks. But look at the range of emotions you can create with a building.
Yeah.
So that inspired me a lot in my younger days. And then, of course, moving into fashion design, I really feel fashion design is so close to automotive. You tailor make something. You take some measurements. It's a process you go through.
It's about materials.
It's about material. It's about feel. It's about how it makes you feel. Clothes are the closest thing to your body. So a lot of fashion design in their food. I think cooking is so similar to design. I'll tell you how. Cooking. Look, I know I'm in an ad agency, but there is a product called Maggi.
Yeah.
I grew up with Maggi, so I would say 50 years. It still takes 2 minutes to make.
Yeah.
Or
not depending on how much chopping.
But in the sense, but it doesn't take less than 2 minutes. Right? They still call it Maggi 2 minutes noodles. Because everything takes a time and it has a process.
Sure.
So this actually my Japanese boss, drew my attention to how close cooking is to automotive design. You have to have the right ingredients.
Yes.
You have to have the right process, and you have to give it the time to become
patience,
what it whatever the time is. Like sushi is not cooked at all. Right?
Yeah.
But that is the time it needs.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean longer or shorter, but you have to have the ingredients, the process to create the finished product. And I find it so similar to car design. You have to have those ingredients in place, and in advertising too, I'm
absolutely
supposing.
Same.
So I love cooking, and I think it gave me a real rich understanding of what I do in my profession.
What I like about cooking is it's about just right.
Yeah.
Right, and that's what creativity is about.
You can overcook.
A bit more, a bit less,
and you're off. A little bit of salt, extra is gone. Or you've overcooked it, it's gone. The tofu's too hard.
Yeah.
I always take this halloumi moment. Halloumi is halloumi till it becomes a eraser. Because then that time. And it's the same for design. If you overcook it and you think, and this is some of the younger designers do that. They sort of overthink and overcook and overboil.
It loses the simplicity or
that freshness which you see on a pencil sketch that they would have done without even thinking about it doesn't translate into the final. So don't overcook, don't undercook, because then your product will fall apart as well. So
like in my business, I keep telling strategists, don't start thinking on PowerPoint. Right? Start thinking in your mind, start thinking on a pen and paper, right?
Absolutely.
And you can see it, thinking which has happened outside of PowerPoint and thinking which has happened on PowerPoint. You can make out how inspirational or complex or simple they are.
Absolutely.
And what stimulus do you put in yourself to stay updated? What do you do? Do you go to a mountain and switch off your phone for 15 days, do Vipassana, or do you drown yourself in more stimulus? What's your way of keeping updated?
I have an 18-year-old daughter. So the language she talks is something which is very alien to us. But it's very important to have.
To understand.
To understand.
So she's your customer.
That day she said glow up or something. I don't know. And I said, what does glow up mean, right? So it means, I don't know, you've suddenly some things become better. That's glow up or whatever. I mean.
Like my son is very hard. And we're like, hasn't been overcooked. No, hard means good.
So good is bad, bad is great, whatever. So I think I just try and keep up with as far as you can with that. I love reading. I actually don't take a sensory break at all.
Wow.
It's funny,
so
but maybe I should.
Overstimulation is your...
that's another word I learned. She said, I'm overstimulated today. What does that mean? So I like stimulus. I like, it's very hard for me to cut off. My mind is like always buzzing away. And I don't see work as work. So I don't.
You enjoy it.
I love it. And had the fortune of getting involved in many more things in Mahindra than just the car design bit, right?
Nice.
So you're always thinking of
ideas
and
future.
I get to see the work you all do, have a comment on that.
Yeah.
I get to design the showrooms.
Yeah, our creative folks love working with you, by the way.
But I get to see what I can imagine what the next showrooms are going to look like.
Yeah.
How we communicate things.
It's about the same. It's about creating those feelings for people, right?
Absolutely. And it's got to be seamless, right?
Yeah.
You can't have a car which looks like a spaceship and then you go in, it's a dhaba. You can't. There's got to be in a brand continuity of the story, right from the first touch point, that first little Instagram
to all the way to
to even post sales, I would say.
Yeah. What are you feeling about the young talent coming into the industry? I mean, are you excited about them? Are you saying they don't want to work hard? What's your sense on?
Look, I think
especially in the design field.
Yeah, great talent will always shine. There's no doubt. We expect them to, we as business, and I can say this for myself, we expect them to deliver from day one actually. And maybe that's where the gap is. When we started in the industry, we're learning. You learn for 2 years. I did a door handle, then a wheel cover. That's how rear view mirror. But you learn so much. Yeah. Now we expect them to design a car from day one. And I think it's hard. It's maybe a little unfair as well. Yeah. But I think in automotive design, if I speak specifically, the design education and the reality of industry are getting further apart. That's what I see.
Yeah.
So while people are skilled, they're prepared, they don't understand the business consequences of design.
Yeah.
See, I think looking at design as a business function is something that no school teaches. No design school teaches.
Unfortunately.
And no business school teaches either.
Right?
Yeah. So I think that's a gap that I find. Sometimes they get pissed off or depressed that their design didn't get selected or whatever it is.
Yeah.
I think you have to understand the context in which design works, and if you do that, then you can explain your life to yourself a bit better. Okay, Pratap didn't choose this because it didn't match. I don't know, the image of the product or the cost.
Yeah, and that is a process.
Boundaries. It is a process.
Yeah, we can't be in such a hurry.
So I think maybe impatience is one of those issues.
It's also hard to be in this generation. The other day we were
it's hard.
Jury on 30 under 13 advertising, and I'm so glad that something like that did not exist in my times.
We would have not been in that room only.
It's so much of pressure to come and be judged. And who are we to judge anybody?
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? In a 3-minute saying you are under 30. I mean, it's
absolutely.
So just a lot of pressure on the generation, and unnecessarily so.
Lot of pressure. So when we select people, when we choose people straight out of college or design school, we look for a couple of things. How well do you think they will work in a team? Yeah. Because it is a team sport.
It's a team sport.
Whoever says anything, it's a team sport.
Creativity is about team sport.
Yeah. And you've got to be a great part of the team. You've got to be able to let go of your ideas as well. It's not like you're going to be the best. I have the most stripes on my shoulder. My idea it doesn't work like that. You have to give yourself to the most appropriate idea for I always say there's no good design and bad design. It's what's appropriate for a certain product or a situation or whatever it is, right? You go to Germany, I just came from a motor show. All the interiors were grey. Everything was grey. Now, is that bad? Is it good?
It's German.
It is what it is. It's for that reality, right?
Yeah. No, that's what when we are hiring people, we're saying that if you come to the table saying this is my idea and it went all the way down, it's small, it's mine, and I'm happy, you wouldn't succeed. But if it's my idea, I brought it in and I left my ego outside like my shoes, and 100 people came, and it's become something different. It's very large, but it's so amazing, and everybody's part of it. Then you'll succeed with us.
I absolutely agree.
It is about the we, it's about the collectivity.
It's that attitude. That's what we look at. See, look, the skills on paper, many people can have, right?
Yeah.
They know how to do Photoshop, Blender, 3D model. I mean, they're much more skilled. I mean, thank God you just said this 30 under 30. When I look at the portfolios, I'm like, thank God I'm not looking for a junior designer job. I would never get one. I mean, the skill these guys have.
Yeah, it's amazing.
But it's the attitude, it's the willingness to learn.
Yeah.
It's like I said, to let your idea go. It's not the most precious thing.